Welcome to the Pixelberry Choices podcast, and today, after a long time, I'm gonna be doing another character breakdown. And this time, surprise, surprise, I'm going to be talking about our grandpa from It Lives Beneath. And for the course of this video, I'm going to be mentioning him as grandpa because that's how he was there. So that's the image. And It Lives Beneath was one of the great books and choices. It still is, and it had climax and then lots of twists and turns like Veils of Secrets. So here we go. So as the name suggests, Grandpa was actually our main character's mom's father. So our main character's mom and dad, and he was our stepdad. He died. They died in the place where we used to live. I suppose it was an apartment, and then our main character and our half brother, we didn't have anyone to as a guardian, and we were underage also. I think our main character was in college, but still we're not old enough, so the court sort of handed our responsibility to our mom's father, our grandpa, and we moved to Pine Spring. We did have our main character's real dad, biological father, I mean. So, but we didn't want to go back to him because he was a jerk to our mom and our main character, as we have learned in the story. Now, what happens in the story is we meet our grandpa, and he seems like he's a grumpy old man, and he is really unhappy with us, and he always tells us and literally points the finger literally shoves his finger in our eyes and makes us see that we're like a burden on him in the early chapters. And if we don't behave, we can leave, or we can go to our biological dad that we don't like, and he's ruling with iron fist, like, you can't do this, you can't go there, you can't do that. And he gets angry. Our half brother and our main character always get angry and furious on his behavior. And then also we meet Tom, who works for him, and Tom also says it's hard to get words out of our grandpa. So we thought our grandpa is an old mean character, and we don't admire him as much as we do. Then we do some stunts. We sneak out to Imogen's party. Then we go digging some secrets about that Nate guy's wife who was missing, and he was saying something. And then we sort of didn't know much about our grandpa till then, but that grandpa was just this grumpy old man who always restricts us from going somewhere. And we still, at the same time, we were digging mysteries, and the secret society that was there, Richard, and also we were and also the zombie-like creatures that were coming out of the Pine Spring Lake. So there is something that lives beneath the water. We lost our friend Kyle there in the first chapter, who we just met in Imogen's party. So we were still digging this, and we often used to sneak out of the house knowing grandpa won't figure out. And then we go to Richard's house once to dig up more with our love interest, and then we find out the secret society, and for the first time we see that the secret society's member is our grandpa. And we also see Imogen's parents and the chief. There's a Chief Kelly, I think, that officer who was Parker's boss. He was also a member of that society. And that's how it goes. And then revelation after revelation. We didn't know much about this grandpa plot. We didn't know he had much to play in this story. But when we really confront the society and we confront Richard, and then we see that this society, at least that's what was told to us, that this society is actually doing good and keeping the animals and all the attacks that are happening on the city, on the Pine Spring, in the lake, they're preventing this. That's what we were told. This is a secret good society. We thought this was a cult, but they made us believe that this is not a cult. And then what happens, we also get this big revelation that the sign of this cult, we knew that our mom before dying drew this. So someone from this cult must have killed us. And then this is big. Our grandpa tells us that our grandpa has killed our mom and our main character's father. So he was the one who actually killed them. And the reason he gave that he wanted to live longer because they have been living for a long time because of this all magic and black stuff they're doing, and they're using the powers of the lake also that I don't think we didn't know in much details back then. But our grandpa was taken away by the police, and then our grandpa was literally invisible for next couple of chapters, and then we were on the boat in Pine Springs lakes, and Imogen's rituals were being performed so that they can accept Imogen in the society also. And then we kept thinking that Imogen's fathers, Officer Kelly, they are good people, but they are really a cult because they tried to kill our main character, like literally kill our main character to take even the last bit of blood. They said we need a little bit of your blood, but then they can, at the moment when the Imogen's father called us to get the blood, he said we want all of it. And then we see a lot of creatures coming out. We have a big fight, and if you have the nerve scores high for everyone, then you get out of there, and our grandpa comes there with a boat and saves us. And then our brother says that he knew from the very first that grandpa was good and was on their side, and later we found out that they had also an ability to make someone speak something that they didn't want to speak in the first place. So they made grandpa say all those things and tricked us because grandpa didn't do any of this. But later slowly we find out all the truths. Remember, in this book, Josephine, who is actually our grandmother, meaning grandpa's wife, so he is the actual ghost who is living under the lake and who is killing everyone who goes there, like Kyle. Now, the story we got was twisted, but the real story we learned later that Josephine and her letters we kept getting. So we used to read a lot about people coming there, and one guy from the corporation wanting to buy the whole town, and she told her about the powers trusting him, and that man was none other than our grandpa. So you also hear grandpa's side of story a little bit, that grandpa sort of tricked her into thinking that he is with her, but she also told him to leave everything behind and come and stay with her in there, but ultimately he betrayed her and he informed everyone. And by everyone I mean the Imogen's mom and dad and Officer Kelly, who were the head of whatever this corporation was or this whole thing that tried to buy the whole Pine Spring from our grandma Josephine. And then we also see from Josephine's eyes this brutal murder, like how she was killed, and she was literally she was they put literally like nail like things on her and sort of pushed her down the lake, and she sort of went down into the lake, and every time they performed a ritual, she sort of they sort of dropped a nail on the water, and it went down like a spike like thing, and it went down and it got stuck to grandma's Josephine's body, and it made her more inhuman. So all the past memories, everything that was left, it was gone, and she was a ghost now, out for her vengeance. And we learned all this bit of detail, and we knew that grandpa was there all along, and he just kept standing there. He just stood there and watched all of this happening. And then our grandma also told him to take care of our mom, and grandpa promised that bit. But now later we meet Josephine, we sort of free her, but then she learns that our mom is dead. And that was the thing that infuriates her, and she becomes the ghost form, and the ghosts are for vengeance. And she rattles everything. She literally kills Aster, I believe, Imogen's mom, Imogen's dad, and everyone. She destroys the whole city of Pine Spring, and her minions, those zombie animals, they also come. We fight them in an epic battle, and that was the epic fight scene in Choices, I would say. One of the epic fight scenes for sure. And then we, it depends on how much diamonds we spend, but Josephine will try to kill Grandpa, and at one point he will even succeed to kill Grandpa because that was Josephine's only one motto. Because Josephine still thinks, and this is true, that Grandpa is the one who betrayed her, who sort of spun this whole web of love and sort of made her get stuck in that web and then fooled her, tricked her, and then literally just made her lose her life because of him. Because he didn't even do anything when she was being tortured and killed by the society. So that's the thing. And even she made him promise that he will keep their daughter safe, and now her daughter is also dead, and that's also because of the society. So that's all rage. Grandma tries to kill Grandpa, but we ultimately save him. And later, Grandpa does have some regret and stuff, but he is now a changed man. His behavior has changed toward our main character and our brother. In a scene, we don't see much after the fighting scene, but we do see that Grandpa's alive, and we were sitting beside the water, and we're talking about fishing and stuff. And then he goes to buy something, and then something else happens in the storyline. But that's all about Grandpa. I mean, I would love to hear what you think about Grandpa's character, because he definitely did some stuff. And we also, at the moment when Josephine was out to get him, we get to have our say and protect Grandpa from this. And this was quite interesting because what he did was horrible, but all these years after, after all these years now, Grandpa's a changed person, and specifically after what happened, we knew Grandpa at one point wasn't telling us the truth and was hiding this bit of information that he's the real culprit who watched all this happening and kept quiet. But still, at the end, he came out alive, and his bonding with our main character and our brother became stronger, and he became more understanding. Perhaps you don't know what happened after that. The story ended. We even die or live depending on our score when Richard attacks us. But later we don't have any idea what happened after that. That's all about Grandpa. That's definitely an interesting character, like you see in one of those crime or like supervillain movies and TV shows. And this is one of the interesting character choices I have ever created. Like many other characters in this It Lives anthology, like Noah, like many other characters, Josephine, Jocelyn, and others. Let me know what you think, what your opinion is in the comment section below. I'd love to talk about this with you guys in the comments. See you in the next video. Do suggest some more character breakdowns. I do have planned for Rourke and Diago for a long time now. So they are long time coming now due. So I'm planning to do that. But suggest some more and see you in the next video. Till then, peace out.